Great, I'll let everyone in.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Circular Economy Accelerator Informational Workshop. My name is Rose Klukas, and I'm the Manager of Economic Development for the City of Campbell River and President of Vancouver Island Coast Economic Development Association. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that I'm coming to you today from the territory of the Likwitaq people of the Wewekam and the Wewekai First Nations. So we're pleased that you've taken the time this afternoon to join us for this introduction to Circular Economy Accelerator Program. And for some of you, it's probably an introduction to the concept of a circular economy. Just a bit about VICEDA, which was established in 1996 as an opportunity for economic development professionals to engagement across our regions. And in recent years, we've also taken on regional collaboration projects, such as a regional tech attraction initiative. And today's circular economy program is also one of those initiatives. So before we get started with the program today, I'm going to hand it over to Amrit Manhas, the City of Nanaimo's Economic Development Officer and also Treasurer for VICEDA. And Amrit's going to introduce the project to you. She has been leading this initiative for VICEDA. So Amrit, over to you. You're just on mute, Amrit.
Thank you so much, Rose, really appreciate that. Thanks for that very warm welcome. And this exciting pilot, the first of its kind in Canada, is being delivered by the Vancouver Island Economic Developers Association and the Synergy Foundation. Our program partners are Island Coast Economic Trust. They're picking up 1/3 of the cost of this project. And this project really would not be possible without their generous support. So we're really thankful for them coming to the table to make this possible. And our community partners include the City of Nanaimo, the Sunshine Coast Economic Development Organization, Cowichan Valley Regional District, the City of Port Alberni, the Municipality of North Cowichan, the City of Campbell River, and Gabriola Island Chamber. This program is a great example of how communities can work together to leverage government funding, to share knowledge, and to facilitate connections between the businesses in their regions. And without taking too much time now, I'd like to turn it over to Jill Doucette, who is the CEO of the Synergy Foundation, and you'll learn all about what is the circular economy and the specific details about this particular program. So thank you and welcome. Jill, over to you.
Thank you for the introduction, Amrit, and thank you to all of the partners who have made this program possible. It was a vision of the VICEDA network to help advance a circular economy on Vancouver Island, and we're really excited to be able to be a part of this and help deliver this program. Today, I am calling in from the traditional territories of the Lekwungen speaking people, known today as the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nation. And this have some other Synergy Foundation team members on the line as well. Georgia and Emily are with the Synergy Foundation. So we wanted to start with a quick overview of what we have envisioned for this program, being a circular economy accelerator. It, as Amrit said, it is the first of its kind. So we're really excited about this as a pilot. It's designed to support businesses, those who want to adopt circular economy principles, which are more widely considered waste and emission reductions, energy reduction as well, and really look a bit deeper in your business and develop innovative practices that can reduce waste, reduce emissions, but also increase value within your company, increasing revenue and reducing operational costs ideally. So this is really about creating competitive businesses of the future and really putting Vancouver Island businesses on a stage and helping them through that innovation journey. We recognize that every business owner could go and read about the circular economy for days if you wanted to, but what's really needed is hands-on support to look at your particular business, your particular opportunities and challenges. So you will work directly with a circular advisor to identify those solutions within your operations. And we will also be developing a bit of a cohort model through this program, ideally facilitating learning between businesses and doing some workshops for the broader community to unpack some learnings, but also talk about what opportunities we have throughout all of Vancouver Island and in some of our major sectors to strengthen the circular economy. All businesses who are accepted into this program and complete the exercise of assessing your circular opportunities will also receive a certificate of completion and recognition for being a part of this pilot program. So what we're going to go through today, just a quick agenda here. We're going to dive into a little bit of Circular Economy 101. I know for some of you, this may be a new term, and for some of you, you may have a general understanding of what the circular economy looks like. Then we're going to unpack some circular business solutions and give you some concrete examples of what this can look like, and go over the program itself and run you through some of the details of what it would look like to be a part of this pilot. We'll wrap with Q&A. Hopefully we'll have a few minutes for that. And that will conclude our workshop for today. So getting into the circular economy, again, many of you may have heard about this term circulating around, no pun intended. But it really is a very practical way to take broader concepts of sustainable development, the UN Sustainable Development Goals, donut economics, climate action in general. And it really takes a practical approach of what all of that looks like in a business. So we'll go through some of those elements here in further slides. Before we get into that, we're curious, who is familiar with the circular economy now? So there's a quick poll. You can just give insert your answer here. It's anonymous, of course. So let us know where you're at now with your familiarity with circular economy. I'll just give everybody a moment to choose their answer. Okay, thank you for that. So not a new concept for anybody. That's good. Means this concept is getting out there. Seems like about a third of you have heard about the circular economy, but still have a lot to learn. Hopefully this program will be a part of that journey for you. Another third somewhat familiar, and the rest have a pretty good understanding. The experts, probably Georgia. All right, thank you for that. So moving on. The circular economy, the easiest way to describe it is to compare it to our current linear economy. So in material flow today, our linear economy extracts materials, They move into production, then distribution, then consumption, and destined, most of what we generate in terms of product is destined to be waste at the end of its life cycle. So this linear model has many deficiencies along the way. We are constantly extracting raw resources rather than circulating existing resources back into the system. Every stage of this consumes energy, consumes more product, and produces more emissions. So in contrast, a circular economy would have loopback systems, and the circular economy would be powered by renewable energy. So in these loopback systems, you're looking at how can we reduce waste before it starts? How can we reuse and repair items? How can we redistribute items? And we have some great resources on Vancouver Island, retail stores that already do this. Think about the restores that we have. Further down the supply chain, we can also recondition materials and items so that they can be reused. And then at the end, the materials that are too far degraded, or the items that are too far degraded, can be recycled back into their raw materials and flow back into the manufacturing process. So a circular economy designs out waste at different stages, going closer to this inner circle there. That's what we want to prioritize. We want to prioritize reducing, reusing, repairing before we move out to recycling. But this is really keeping materials in flow out of our landfills and out of our ecosystems. So the circular economy for us has many benefits, and it's why the Synergy Foundation is so focused on the circular economy. But we're curious what your drivers are and what your interest is in circular economy. So just another quick poll here. We'll give everyone a minute to input their answer. Okay, this is very interesting. So most of you are here to talk about the circular economy because you're interested in supporting local economy. That's very interesting. Circular economy is by nature more local because you're supporting local services to keep materials in flow. Second up, reducing environmental impact. Absolutely. And then supporting supply chain resilience, which kind of ties to the local economy piece, and we can talk about that a little bit more as well. And then nobody wants to save money, so that's interesting. But you do want some new revenue streams. I think I chose new revenue streams. I think the circular economy is really exciting for that, taking waste and finding new value, thinking about how can we create products out of our waste and then export them. I think that's really exciting element of the circular economy and something we are definitely not tapping into enough. But that is great to know. Thank you so much. Oops. Okay, so moving ahead here. These are some of the core values and core benefits that can come from the circular economy. So the first is reduced emissions. And you may not think about this immediately when we think about reducing waste, but there is embedded carbon in all material flows. So if we can keep something in use longer, or we can repair something instead of having a new item, there's embodied carbon in those materials that are saved. We can certainly create new green jobs as well through the circular economy. This is something that I think is really exciting for all of BC as well as Vancouver Island. When we are importing most of our goods and exporting most of our waste, it's a missed opportunity in thinking about that waste as a local resource that could have value add and create local jobs here. Localizing waste management. In addition, creating repair economies and waste, we can also look at that in terms of supply chain resilience. So really localizing those things and strengthening our supply chain, Creating new entrepreneurial opportunities within the circular economy. This is an incredible opportunity for new entrepreneurs who want to come in and offer a new product or service to the economy. And that, of course, links to general spurring innovation. The whole world is talking about the circular economy, and there are some hotspots globally. We see a lot coming out of some of the areas in Europe, such as the Netherlands. We see Sweden being a leader in circular economy, and we really feel like Vancouver Island should be on that stage with some of those regions in the world. As I mentioned, creating new revenue streams for your business as well. So perhaps considering some of the waste that your business generates as an opportunity to turn value back into your business. And for our regions, of course, meeting our regional waste targets. Many of the regions on Vancouver Island have solid waste management plans with aggressive targets for solid waste reduction, because frankly, our landfills are filling up and we need to think differently about our waste. So this may be shocking considering the amount of diligent blue bin recycling that we do here on Vancouver Island. I know all of you are probably fantastic recyclers, and that is a great step. But when we look at our world from a global perspective, we're not even 10% circular. So 91% of all materials are eventually destined for landfill or our ecosystems in some way. That might be microplastics in the ocean, that could be litter in our natural ecosystems, or of course, landfilled. So we have a huge gap to fill and a massive opportunity. So the big picture here and some fun facts for you. 18 billion pounds of plastic waste enters our ocean each year. 89% of the plastic produced in Canada goes to landfill. So talk about big gaps to fill. The most recent Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report spoke of this and really painted quite a dire picture of our climate crisis. We need to cut global emissions by half, and they're still rising. The Circular Economy Gap report that was most recently released states that the circular strategies that we will talk about further in this presentation, and circular strategies on a global level can cut GHG emissions by 39%. So the circular economy is one of our best opportunities to address the climate crisis. It's also a $4.5 trillion opportunity in the global marketplace. If you think about waste, it's an expensive endeavor to create waste, to haul waste, to landfill waste, to ship waste around. And it's really is a missed opportunity. So we are hoping to turn that around and help position Vancouver Island as a leader in this. So when we think about this $1 trillion opportunity, and this number is thrown around by big reports that you can read about online, but what really is that opportunity at the individual business level? That can look like new revenue sources, such as turning waste into new products or new services, perhaps in creating a repair service as an example. Local jobs and that GDP related GDP can come from remanufacturing and value-added processes as an example. So perhaps taking waste and for an example, you may take plastic waste and turn that into a new good, such as a camping chair that can be sold. So it's that innovation in creating those local jobs through remanufacturing. It can also come from funding opportunities. The circular economy is part of broader climate finance. It falls under ESG investing. So there's the investment side of it. You can also access grants, low interest financing, wage subsidies as a green innovation within your company. And you may be able to develop R&D opportunities, partnering with universities or other research labs. So the circular economy can really crack open a lot of opportunities for businesses. So some of the key drivers and enablers of a circular economy, and this is why we really need organizations like VICEDA to help us champion the circular economy, is we need to develop these partnerships. We need policy change to help reflect and drive this, especially on the waste management side. We need investment dollars to be pushing more towards a circular economy, and we're already seeing that trend very strong in ESG investing. And more innovation, research and development, and ideas in circular economy will help take these ideas and make them a reality. So overall, and the key message from my part of the presentation here is that we really do have a broken system. From the assessments that we've done in Synergy, we look at waste and always see opportunity now. And I hope that through this program, you will be able to see the same within your organization, region, or business. And at this point, I will pass it to Georgia to share some more examples and tell you more about the program.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Jill. Great overview of the circular economy. I'm excited to dive in with all of you about some circular business solutions and look at the flip side of all of this. So we'll come back to this circular economy model that we shared at the beginning here. And as Jill said, when we look at solutions within our businesses, we want to start and prioritize these inner loops here, and then working our way out to reconditioning and recycling as more so of our last options, but focusing our initial efforts on these inner loops here. So I'll share some examples today, keeping in mind that every business is going to have very custom opportunities, and that's one of the benefits of this program, is that you'll be able to identify those unique opportunities within your business operations. So starting at the first stage of reduce here. So when we're looking at this from a business aspect, we're thinking, how can we reduce and eliminate waste before it's even created? So this is going to start with purchasing decisions that you make, and also within the product design within your organization and company. Some examples are, like I said, eliminating waste before it occurs. So you can reduce your dependency on virgin materials, whether that be printer paper. If you're going through a lot of that, look at paper that is made with like sugar sheet. It's paper free, or tree free paper, sorry. Printing double-sided and going paperless, or eliminating unnecessary packaging. So there can be quite simple solutions that have really large impacts. So in Canada, 50% of all of our plastic waste comes from single-use packaging. So can we reduce any of that plastic packaging within our own operations? And this can be done through elimination and innovation. You can also work to advocate to your suppliers to help reduce waste as well. So this could come from reusable pallets and pallet wraps to advocating for them to eliminate plastic packaging. And I've actually worked with a few businesses who have been really strong advocates for their suppliers and have had seen significant changes from those suppliers and rippled amongst all other customers as well. So there is impact to be had there. The next loop back process we look at is the reuse and repair. So this is where we're intentionally buying products that can be reused and repaired and have been built for longevity. And then for products that we already own, we're looking at how can we extend its useful life. So some examples of how you may see this coming up within your business is using reusable materials, right? So I mentioned the reusable pallets and pallet wraps. The significance of this and how it relates to reducing your operational costs. If you were a business that uses a lot of pallet wraps and made the transition to reusable, those ones are designed to be used over 2,500 times, but they also save labor with each use. So about 3 minutes of labor and 176 feet of stretch film for every 6-foot pallet that is wrapped. So significant savings over time. Reusable pallets, they're also lighter for shipping. They can be used up to 250 times as opposed to the traditional wooden pallets, which have a significantly shorter lifespan. Some other ways that you could look at reuse within your business. If you were a restaurant or a cafe or a grocer looking to adopt reusable container services, we have more and more of these popping up on Vancouver Island, and they can make a real profound impact in reducing those single-use items rather. Within your operations, providing reusable plates, cups, and cutlery in your employee kitchen, ensure that you have access to those durable goods. Creating a purchasing policy that is giving preference to secondhand items whenever possible or feasible. So looking at this from your purchasing practices as well and ensuring that that's communicated outward amongst your employees. And then, of course, determining if the material can be reused on site or could it be used for a different function. An example of this might be that from one supplier, you receive a lot of soft plastic, but you also send out a lot of fragile items that need to be wrapped in something. So now instead of purchasing bubble wrap or wrap for those items, you can just reuse that soft plastic that's already coming in. Another part of the system is really fostering that repair culture. So we have a growing repair culture here on Vancouver Island, but also fostering that within your organization. So again, coming back to your purchasing practices and purchasing durable items with high repairability, prioritizing repair over purchasing new whenever possible, and informing your team of those repair policies. As we move outward here, we get to the redistribution stage. So in this process, a good, maybe it is, it's obsolete to you or it no longer serves a function within your operations, but it still has value and someone else can still make good use of this product. A wonderful example of this for grocery stores is an organization out of Nanaimo called Loaves and Fishes. It's a Food for You recovery initiative. In 2021 alone, they redistributed over 3.8 million pounds of food. That's a significant amount of food that's now being redistributed from landfill and going into the hands of households and other nonprofits, schools, and local charities who are using this food to feed people. And then the food that is unfit for people using the nutrient density hierarchy is being donated to farmers and animals, and then lastly composted. So this program is offering retailers a really cost-effective and socially responsible, and of course, environmentally friendly way of disposing the food that they're not able to sell anymore. Right now, they pick up a surplus of food about 7 days a week from retailers such as Superstore, Thrifties, Save on Food, Country Grocer, and more. And there's other versions of organizations like this doing same work across the island. Also, we look at sharing opportunities. So is there a certain tool or piece of equipment that you need, but perhaps you only need it for one project or you only need it a couple times a year? Does it make more sense to be able to rent that and be able to share it with other businesses? So you can look at equipment rental and sharing services for those tools and specialty equipments. There is Share Cost Rentals, which has so much equipment for different projects. And that really reduces the amount of resources that are needed, both from you in terms of purchasing new goods, but resources that are needed to create these goods. If one good can be shared amongst 10 businesses as opposed to each of them owning something, we have a significant reduction in virgin materials that are required. And then platforms such as BizBizShare are these networks that really make this business-to-business sharing, as the name suggests, quite easy. So they have a variety of categories that you can select from, and it can be everything from HR and expertise to equipment and products and construction materials. So there's lots of great sharing opportunities as well. As we get into, talking about the construction industry, we know that a lot of waste in our landfills is coming from construction and demolition waste. Businesses can look to utilize deconstruction rather than demolition in projects. And even within the city of Victoria, they've recently passed a bylaw for deconstruction as well. So we do see this becoming more and more of a trend within industry. But deconstruction I find so fascinating. Not only are we able to recover incredible materials such as old growth lumber, windows, doors, and appliances, but it's also a really great economic opportunity as well. So with Unbuilders, so they're one of the first to be doing the kind of deconstruction work. They have a 95% salvage rate on their projects. So that means of every home, 95% of that's being diverted from landfill, where with demolition, that would not be the same. And those materials are recovered and used for a variety of other projects. They also are able to create a lot of jobs through this. So with demolition, for every one job you would create through demolition, you would be able to create 6 jobs through deconstruction. Now, I know that probably sounds about 6 times more expensive, but it is now an affordable alternative because of the variety of federal and provincial tax credits that are available, as well as the value of the materials that are recovered from the building. as I mentioned, these final two stages here of the circular economy, they require major changes to the goods and they do require more energy. So within the reconditioning stage, this is where a product is taken in for upgrading or for value add processing. So we're thinking here, can a waste stream be reconditioned in-house within your business and monetized? Or could it be used by a local entrepreneur or business for their manufacturing? And we have so many great examples of this already happening on Vancouver Island. One of them from the Cowichan Valley is Ergo Eco Solutions. So they collect cooking oil from restaurants on Vancouver Island, and they actually convert it into biodiesel. More recently, they've created a concrete release agent that uses reconditioned cooking oil as well. So a great petroleum alternative here. And as I mentioned, monetizing your waste. So sometimes people aren't able to see the value in the waste and what that can hold for somebody else. And as Jill said, I think I look at waste so much differently now with the work that we do at Synergy, and just there's a unique opportunity for everything. So a local entrepreneur, in this example here, she takes the old sails from sailboats and she works with some of the local marinas to collect the old sails. And she turns them into these really unique handcrafted adventure backpacks and other bags, and they all come with a really unique story. And she's garnered quite a following for this type of project. Other examples are, organizations that are using the hotel linens and coffee burlap sacks from local resorts and cafes to make reusable shopping bags. So there's just so much opportunity here. And with all of our amazing craft breweries and distilleries across the island, spent grain from those breweries can be a real big opportunity. It can be used as an input for a variety of applications, including baked goods and dog treats. So on the bottom right picture, those are actually from Sustainable. So they're based out of Vancouver, but they've started rescuing spent grain from distilleries, and they turn them into cookies and baking mixes and different flours. But they've already recovered about 9,000 kilograms of spent grain from just 7 breweries. And it's actually quite a nutrient dense flour. So a very popular product there as well. And of course, we can look at, reconditioning for clean energy. With the popularity of electric vehicles, we now have these EV batteries. So Moment Energy is actually repurposing these electric car batteries to be able to store the energy from solar and wind power. And then bioflame briquettes, they take sawdust, kind of a byproduct from the forestry industry, and they turn it into these briquettes, and they burn similar to coal, but of course a lot more cleaner. And these briquettes are super efficient for heating homes. And then they also have wood chips that can be used in industrial biomass heating systems. So as I said, so many kind of examples of entrepreneurs who are doing really unique and innovative things with these waste streams from other businesses. So just looking at different opportunities. And then last, we look at recycle. So in this stage, the product has reached its end of life. And this is the most energy intensive stage. So that's why we have it the farthest out within our loop back process. So here products are broken down into their separate materials so that they can re-enter the production process and create new products. So like I said, recycling really should be used as our last option once all other loop back opportunities have been explored. But we do have some really fantastic recycling services for, again, more of those unique waste streams, especially within our businesses that we may see come up. In Cowichan, there's the Recyclists. So not only is it super cool that they pick up your recycling on bike with a big trailer, but they accept those soft and hard plastics, the paper, cardboard, glass, refundables, and also styrofoam. And they can arrange different pickup schedules for you. C2C Threads from Gabriola Island, they recycle textile waste, which with the prevalence of fast fashion is something that is very needed. So they have the ability to divert 52,000 pounds of textiles from landfill every year. Sea to Sky Removal is a force of nature in the construction industry, and they help construction sites kind of green their operations as well by being able to divert materials from landfill. So they help set up diversion systems on site so that you can reduce your disposal costs, and they see about a 30% reduction in disposal costs when these diversion kits are set up on site. They also do have free online resources, including guides, signage, and waste calculators for construction companies. And then Salish Soils. So they offer a wide variety of services. And they will also collect, your green waste, your food waste, from fisheries. They'll collect fish residual waste from the fish farms, and it's all accepted for compost. They'll also take in wood waste, both clean and contaminated, and those are used for different purposes. One used in a biomass boiler to provide power to one of the pulp and paper plants, and then another is used, the contaminated is used as landfill cover. And of course, they also do provide those recycling and drop-off centers for those harder to recycle items as well. So again, lots of just unique opportunities for our waste streams to be diverted within Vancouver Island and on the coast. So with an overview of some of those examples, and as I said, that is just a sampling of examples and opportunities. I want to talk to you more about the Accelerator pilot program itself, and why this program was created, and why VICEDA has brought this program forward and Synergy is collaborating on it. We really want to empower businesses on Vancouver Island and on the Sunshine Coast to transition to circular operations, to position themselves as leaders in the circular economy development, and to be the ones that, help put Vancouver Island on the map as a circular economy hub. So overall program benefits for this, beyond the business benefits, but collectively, we're looking at reduced community landfill waste. We're strengthening our business environmental performance, facilitating those business connections and localizing our supply chains, and really working to create those resilient local communities. And I know a few of you have mentioned supporting my local economy and the supply chain resiliency were really important to you. And projects like this is, one of the ways that we can get there. And then, of course, eliminating wasteful processes and reducing those operational costs. So through this accelerator program, we had 4 key objectives. First one being to support those businesses on the island and on the Sunshine Coast to adopt circular practices. This is done through consulting, training, and resources. So in the next slide, I'm going to get into what that key objective really looks like and how we get there. The next was to help facilitate that peer-to-peer learning regarding opportunities and other ways that we can overcome these challenges that we may face within our businesses. To help build the case for circular solutions with proven success metrics as we gather results from these assessments, and to deepen our understanding of the gaps and opportunities that exist within the market in a circular economy here on the island. As it's been said, this is the first program of its kind in Canada. And so there's still so much to be learned about what are the gaps and opportunities that our local business communities are facing. And programs like this are what allow us to do that. So as an interested business in this program, as Amrit mentioned, we've had so many fantastic program supporters who have helped fund this project. Because of all of their support, each business can participate in this program for $500. And with that, they will receive the opportunity to work one-on-one with a circular advisor. So they'll come on site to assess your current operations and opportunities that lie within those. Each business will receive a report outlining those opportunities to reduce their waste, energy, and emissions. Will support you in identifying cost-saving and value-add opportunities within your operations and help you to develop an action plan and metrics so that you can track your progress following the assessment. So you have something to reflect on and check in with so you can continue to improve. There'll be the peer-to-peer learning on industry best practices. This will be done through facilitated workshops with guest experts, and it'll be based on trends that we see coming through from our site visits. And of course, that certificate of completion. The businesses that go through this program will be the first to do a program of this kind. And yet all of those who complete their assessment through to the reporting stage will receive a certificate of completion. And that's really a great way to help position yourself as a leader in this space and share that with your team and to get them excited about it, but also to share that with your community. So our project timeline for this, applications are currently open. So you can find those on the VICEDA webpage, and I'll chat a bit more about how to apply in just a moment. Applications, they're going to remain open until the end of August or until all spots have filled. We have a set number of spots available in this year's pilot program. So once all of those are filled, applications will close. On-site assessments will be conducted between late August of this year and spring of 2023. So businesses that are accepted into the pilot program will have the opportunity to tell us what time of year works best for them to tackle a project like this. Reports will be provided to participating businesses within 4 to 6 weeks after the site assessment is completed. And this is where we'll present to you our key findings and opportunities and help you develop that action plan moving forward. And then those industry workshops, those are going to be hosted throughout the program. And then at the very end of the program, we'll be putting together a final report of this pilot cohort and a showcase presentation to aggregate all of the results, to share any key findings, to share any key gaps and opportunities with the community at large. And so this will happen in the spring or summer of 2023. So for businesses that are interested in participating in this program, you will be able to find the application form on the VICEDA webpage, and my colleague, if she hasn't already, will pop that in the chat for you. This application form, it does need to be completed all in one sitting. There isn't a save function. It should take you a maximum of 30 minutes to complete. So just ensure that when you do go to apply, that you give yourself enough time to do so. Ensure that you have answered all questions fully, and then you will, once it's submitted, you'll receive an automated notification saying that your application has been received. It'll all be done through a Google form. And then you'll receive a response from the review committee regarding the status of your application within 4 weeks of submitting. So outside of this program, if you're on the call and you're like, this sounds amazing, I want to get involved, but it's not the right fit for my business at this time. There are a lot of other resources that I just wanted to share to help everybody along in their journey. So there is the Vancouver Island Green Business Collective, and this is a certificate program for SMEs on the island. And it covers their, operations, waste management, carbon emissions, water usage, purchasing and products, and social impact. It's a kind of smaller scaled program, but a fantastic opportunity for a lot of smaller businesses. There's also Climate Smart, and so they'll assist you in measuring your carbon footprint and setting kind of those reduction targets. And then for entrepreneurs who don't have a business yet, or they maybe have a really good business idea, but they're looking for support in how to turn that into a marketable business. We have a Project Zero incubator program. So this supports the startups who are operating within a circular economy space to develop their business model and prepare for launch. There's also just lots of other great networks to join to advance your learning and your knowledge within the circular economy. So there's the Coast Waste Management Association, and they have a variety of wonderful working groups to engage in. The Circular Economy Leadership of Canada, or the Canada Plastic Pact. They are a great resource to be able to engage with other businesses across BC and Canada within your industry. So with all of that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Jill in case you have any final thoughts, and then we could jump into some Q&A.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that overview, Georgia, and for sharing so many inspiring examples. I just wanted to also mention that, this program is not necessarily designed for businesses that are circular economy experts. This is about really finding those opportunities, learning, and really starting that journey as a business. So if there was some language or examples that were a little bit intimidating today, just know that, this is what this program is for, is really learning and doing that capacity building. So if you have any questions, I hope you will reach out, and I will just pass it to Amrit to wrap us up, and then we'll take questions.
Unmute first, right? Thank you very much, Georgia and Jill, for that great presentation. And thank you everyone for joining us today. As you know, this webinar is recorded and it will be posted on the VICEDA website for those that aren't able to join us at this time. I would really encourage you to share this with your networks and get the word out about the fact that this program is launching. And please fill out the applications. Of course, after the questions that you ask here today, if you have further questions, feel free to reach out to your economic development professional in your community, and they would be happy to answer those questions. And before we totally wrap it up, I would like to open it up for questions. And Jill and Georgia are great experts in this area, so they can help answer any questions anybody has.
Please feel free to drop questions in the chat as well, if that's easier.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I will just start with a question.
Okay, great.
So I was wondering, you're going to have specific metrics for this particular program. What are they going to look like? So you do a site visit and you look at, what kind of energy they're using and what they're doing right now. But what are some examples of the metrics? How do you measure, okay, this is where the business is at. This is the progress at the end of the program.
That's a great question. One of the things we'll be doing is helping the business establish a waste baseline. So ideally through looking at pickup frequencies of bins and bin sizes, we'll be able to say, okay, there's this much waste generation at this point in time. But through some of the opportunities we found, we think that waste can be diverted through circular systems by about 50%. And that may equate to X amount of tons of waste and a certain amount of carbon emissions associated with that as well. So those are kind of the metrics that we will get to through the site assessments.
Great, thank you.
Yes, Sandra.
Yeah, hi. So I'm kind of curious about your examples and how many are from smaller communities. So I'm in Campbell River, and I wonder in terms of the metrics, like I imagine it's more challenging because you may be able to repurpose something, but you have to drive 100 kilometers in order to do that. So I would guess the metrics would get complicated, but are you accounting for that distance to have to connect businesses?
Yes, it's a great question for the rural communities. We have been developing a circular solutions database for Vancouver Island businesses for some time. So, and I really do think this is why there's not a one size fits all solution for any business in any community. So for example, this was a concept George and I were talking about this morning in another meeting. If you're in a very remote community, sometimes the emissions to say move cardboard waste is too high. In that case, you may want to look at local uses for it. You may want to shred it in that community and use it as a soil amendment, or you may want to press it into biobriquettes and use it for another use, because it's just not worth the shipping or barging of the waste away. So we'll have to balance that and really just look at it from a practical perspective in each business in each community. I see we have a question from Ben here as well. I'll just take a look at that one. Georgia, did you have anything to add to the last question?
No, that's exactly on point with what I was thinking. And I also noticed that above Ben, we have one from Shelley too. So maybe we can address Shelley's first. I see that she's asking, other than the waste assessments that we're doing, if there's examples of another way that a business can reduce their GHG emissions. And so with this program, so for fossil use in their energy requirements was the addition that she had in there, Jill. So maybe I'll let you lead with this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So in businesses as well, we'll be looking at what is the direct energy supply. For most businesses, there'll be two main sources of emissions. It'll be fleet, so company-owned vehicles, and building energy use, especially if it uses natural gas for heating hot water or commercial kitchens or other uses. Those will be the main ones. We may see some oddities, such as businesses that use a lot of propane for some reason. Perhaps forklifts and barbecues. I don't know. It's always a bit of a surprise when you go in. But for those ones, we will also be looking at circular opportunities. So as an example, for a business that has diesel fleet, perhaps they might be, located in proximity to Cowichan, we may say, well, there's an opportunity to switch to blended biodiesel instead, and that's a more circular fuel and you can reduce your emissions. So those would be the kind of things we're looking at, just depending again on the region and proximity to alternatives. I see Ben also has a question here about thoughts in competitive advantage of Vancouver Island in circular economy and material streams. There are some really unique material streams we have here. I think a benefit of being an island is that it sometimes is expensive to get rid of waste. So it gives you a bit more of an economic tipping point to say, actually, it's a little more worth it to do something innovative here because, let's say, shipping it to the mainland to then get shipped and recycled down in the States is very expensive. So we have some unique wastes here related to our marine economy, related to our forestry, related to some of our key manufacturing sectors that I think will be very interesting to get into. Some of the circular economy examples you see, for example, in the fashion industry, we might not see as much here because we don't do a lot of textile manufacturing here. So we likely won't really see any of that. So there will be some unique things here for Vancouver Island, definitely.
I think we have another one in the chat from Starla. So she's just wondering, how are we proposing that the costs related to dealing with the increased costs associated with upgrading of specialized equipment in relations to practical impact on the business operations?
Yes, this is definitely always a balancing point. Like, for example, we might say, oh, you could switch to all hydrogen powered vehicles, but like, how realistic is that? And where are you even going to get the hydrogen? And, so we really want to have practical solutions here in this program. And ideally things that are going to make businesses more competitive. Some investments to become more circular might have a good ROI. And then, that would be something that we can discuss with the business in the recommendations report. But we'd be focusing on initiatives that are going to have, if they have a capital cost associated with them, then they're going to have some kind of return on investment for the business.
Not seeing any more questions.
I'll just ask another one there. So I'm just thinking, I was thinking, what type of business would be the easiest to show positive outcomes? And then I realized, well, the positive outcomes would depend on the values of the business owner. So some business owners might have, the financial bottom line as more important, but others might have, a social bottom line that's more important to them. So I'm wondering, in terms of your metrics, what you do in terms of determining in the beginning, what are the goals for that particular business? And then your final, assessment, you'd have to look back at those goals, and those goals might be very different depending on the values of your business owner.
Absolutely, and those are great points. Businesses will come at this from different angles. So I think it's important for us to, before we go in, to understand the drivers. Why are you a part of this program is a question in the application for that reason, because we do need to know, are you coming at it from a, we really want to localize our supply chain through the circular economy, tell us how, or is it about, more environmentally, I want to cut my waste, I want to be a zero waste business by 2025. How do I get there? So if we know the drivers, then because the circular economy opportunities are so vast and you can use lots of different angles and approaches with it, if we know the driver, we can tailor our recommendations and laundry list of opportunities towards helping the business meet that goal. Certainly helps if they have a waste goal, because we can be like, all right, how do we get there together?
Oh, okay. So maybe that's my follow-up question then is there a type of business that could be targeted because it's the easiest kind of business to show a positive impact?
I don't have any particular businesses in mind personally. I think businesses that have a large volume of regular waste production, that are constantly producing the same types of waste on a very regular basis, that would be very ideal. So high waste volume is something that we're looking for, because ideally we want this program to have a high environmental impact overall as well. So if you're a very wasteful business, we definitely want you to apply to this program.
Thank you.
See, we have another question here from Shelley about electric vehicles and electric equipment. Yeah, that would certainly help meet, the circular economy being powered by renewable energy, because we certainly do have a very low carbon intensive electricity grid here in BC. It's one of our assets as a province. So, our greenhouse gas footprint of a kilowatt hour here is like 11 grams per kilowatt hour versus, say, our neighbors in Alberta is 600 or 700. So that is a real asset here that would be considered as a part of the emission reduction strategy, but will be more focused on material flow and waste management.
I see there's another question from Starla Parkin, and we'll make that one the last one. So if you could respond to that, Jill, and then I'll just close it after that for us. Thank you.
Okay, great. There's a question about the certificate having an expiration date. So the certificate will be issued as a one-time as a part of this program as a pilot. There is no annual certification designed into this yet, though there are circular economy certifications out there. They're rigorous and expensive, but happy to let you know about those programs. The second question here is about, does the program open up or connect business partners to increase circular movement? Yes. So that's why we've been creating this circular database, is we need to know who's who on the island. Where can you take waste foam if you have, foam for upholstery and things like that. So we really need to know about where the opportunities are. So ideally, one of the key outcomes of this program will be a more localized, circular and connected business community on Vancouver Island.
Thank
Georgia,
you,
anything to add before we wrap up?
No, I think that's perfect. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us. We're anticipating that this program will be a great success, and we're hoping to make it bigger and better over the coming years. And for that, we will actually be approaching the provincial government as well as the federal government for funding this program. And hopefully more businesses can take part in this program over the coming years. And we'll definitely be approaching ICE-T again, Brody, just a warning for you. And businesses that participate in this program are true leaders of circular economy, and they are going to inspire other businesses to be a part of this program and to participate in it. They will be helping create resilient economies. They will be helping create sustainability in their communities. And of course, ultimately, that will help create a better world. And what could be more important than that? So Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. And we really encourage you to please share the link to this presentation in your networks to encourage businesses to come forward and to join this program. Please fill out the application. And the link to this video will be on the VICEDA website. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Bye for now.